Could the Warriors be plotting their next big heist? Is Chase Center about to welcome a stretch big who tormented us in the playoffs? Hello, Warriors faithful, and welcome back to Warriors News Fan Report, where every rumor ignites our championship dreams. Before we dive into the latest buzz, smash that like button and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report, so you're always first in line when Dub Nation's future is on the line. Tonight, the whispers are impossible to ignore. According to Multiple and insiders, the Golden State Warriors are now the odds-on favorite to land Minnesota Timberwolves center Nasser "Nas" Reed once he becomes a free agent. This startling flip of the script comes after word broke that Reed intends to decline his player option, a move that entices teams ready to offer him a starring role and a bigger payday. Imagine that. The same player who erupted for 18 points and 10 boards when given starter minutes, and whose smooth three-point stroke shredded the Warriors throughout last year's playoffs, now suiting up under the Bay Area lights. Let's rewind. For context. Just days ago, Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report reported that Reed will enter free agency, seeking a starting job and the chance to showcase his talents on a championship contender. For Minnesota, that's a gut punch. They already face a salary crunch trying to keep Julius Randle, and now they must decide whether to match Reed's expected 4-year, $100 million price tag or let him test the market. From the Warriors' perspective, this is tantalizing. They're in desperate need of a stretch big to complement their small ball core, someone who can knock down threes, patrol the glass, and offer enough rim protection to balance out Draymond Green's defensive assignments. Reed checks nearly every box on paper. At 6'9" and 265 pounds with a 7'3" wingspan, he brings size and mobility that allow him to defend positions 1 through 5. Last season, even in a limited 25 minutes per game off the bench, he averaged 14 points, 6 rebounds, and a block per contest while shooting an efficient 38% from deep. Those are numbers that make any Warriors fan drool. Imagine Reed slotting into Steve Kerr's offensive system, spacing the floor for Steph Curry's gravity and creating driving lanes that force defenses into impossible rotations. Yet, landing Reed won't be easy. Reports suggest he'll command a starting salary north of $25 to $30 million per year. Golden State simply doesn't have that kind of cap room to sign him outright. The only franchise with the requisite space might be Brooklyn. That's where we get into the nitty-gritty of possible scenarios. Could the Warriors pull off a sign-and-trade? For Reed, as a bird rights player, any team trading for him only needs to send back half his salary, making a potential deal slightly more feasible. Still, matching dollars remains tricky. Names floated include Buddy Hield as a sign-and-trade sweetener, but the math often doesn't align without involving a third team to absorb salaries or pick up draft incentives. Then there's the optics and loyalty questions. Reed is reportedly laser-focused on earning a starting role. Golden State's starting front court rotation could be a crowded one. Would he supplant Kevon Looney or share minutes in a timeshare? How would Draymond's defensive anchor role shift if Reed takes over more rim-protecting duties? Some insiders believe Reed's unselfish nature would allow him to embrace a complementary role. Catch and shoot, spot-up threes, and crashing the glass, while Draymond orchestrates the defense and Steph remains the primary playmaker. But skeptics warn that locking into a max contract for Reed could hamstring the Warriors' financial flexibility once Curry, Green, and other core contracts expire in 2 years. Across social media and fan forums, the debate rages. One camp insists that adding a floor-spacing big like Reed instantly solves Golden State's second-unit woes and allows Kerr to experiment with small ball less frequently. Remember last season's stretch 4 struggles? Reed offers a direct remedy. Pop threes, secure rebounds, and defend adequately without sacrificing spacing. On the other hand, purists worry that Reed's defensive grading, while respectable, is not elite. Could he handle the league's top centers come playoff time? Would he be ready to anchor the paint when the stakes are highest? These are not idle questions. During the playoffs, Reed's 38% shooting disguised lapses in pick-and-roll defense and occasional fouling. In Golden State, under Kerr's system, any defensive misstep is magnified. Looking at the Timberwolves' situation, it's clear why Reed wants out. Minnesota's front court is crowded with Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, and playing time is at a premium. For Reed, leaving to become a long-term starter in Golden State has undeniable appeal. Think of the endorsement opportunities, the chance to chase titles, and the chance to share the court with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Yet, will he accept a role that prioritizes spacing over usage? Some insiders believe he will, drawn by the chance to showcase his skills on basketball's biggest stage, while others suspect he'd rather play on a lesser contender where he's the undisputed focal point. Now, consider the impact on Dub Nation. Imagine matchups against the Lakers or Suns this coming season. Curry pulling up from deep, Klay splashing catch-and-shoot triples, Draymond roaming as the defensive general, and Reed lurking in the corner for open threes or crashing for putbacks. Opposing defenses would be stretched to the brink, forced to choose between hedging on pick-and-rolls or staying home to contest Reed's perimeter shots. In our imaginations, that becomes a nightmare scenario for anyone in the West. From a historical standpoint, Golden State's previous big man additions have had mixed results. Andrew Bogut helped secure a championship in 2015. JaVale McGee provided rim protection in 2018. Kevon Looney has been a dependable rotation piece, but none combined floor spacing with size like Reed. If this rumor comes true, it could mark a turning point in Kerr's lineup philosophy, shifting back toward the modern, positionless style that emphasizes shooting at all 5 spots, while still maintaining enough size to survive the physical demands of the playoffs. At the same time, we can't ignore the chatter that other teams are circling Reed. The Detroit Pistons, flush with cap space, are rumored to be willing to offer a lucrative deal to a player they believe can anchor their rebuild. Milwaukee might even explore sign-and-trade options if they can't match Reed's asking price. So, despite Vegas giving the Warriors a 36% chance to land him, the path is far from guaranteed. In fact, if Minnesota can sweeten a sign-and-trade by adding a sweetener like a future-protected pick swap or a young rotation piece, other contenders will line up at the rumor mill and Golden State may find itself in a bidding war. Still, as a die-hard Warriors supporter, I can't help but feel the pull of the possibilities. Personally, I believe adding Naz Reid would be a masterstroke, one that buys us time in the title window while Curry and Draymond remain at their peak. His 38% mark from deep as a big man addresses our most glaring weakness, and his size brings a physical element we've lacked since Andrew Bogut's departure. Could there be chemistry concerns? Absolutely. Could Reed's defensive limitations haunt us come playoff time? That's a risk, but sometimes in life and in championship runs, you have to reach for the upside, even if the downside looms large. Before we dive back into the action, smash that like button and subscribe to Warriors News Fan Report so you never miss a moment of Dub Nation drama. Imagine waking up to the headlines. Nasser Reed agrees to deal with Golden State. A banner across every sports outlet. But just how did we get from whispered speculation to a signed contract? Let's break it down and explore the cascading effects this move will have on our championship trajectory. First, let's revisit the reported contract details. According to league insiders, Reed inked a 4-year, $110 million pact to become the Warriors' new starting center. That represents a significant financial commitment, roughly $27.5 million per season at a time when Golden State's core veterans, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson, are all still under max deals. To accommodate Reed's salary without reaching the luxury tax thresholds, the front office executed a sign-and-trade with the Brooklyn Nets. In exchange for Reed's bird rights and $27.5 million cap hit, Golden State sent forward Kevon Looney and a 2027 first-round pick to Brooklyn, along with a future 2029 second-rounder as sweetener. The Nets, in turn, flipped Looney to Sacramento for a protected 2026 first and cash considerations, an elaborate three-team maneuver that required months of orchestration behind the scenes. On court, the roster upheaval is seismic. Picture the opening tip at Chase Center with Curry, Thompson, Green, Reed, and Andrew Wiggins running out together. The very sight of that lineup sends a chill through opponents. 4 proven sharpshooters, finishers around the rim, plus Draymond's defensive IQ anchoring everything. Steve Kerr's starting 5 suddenly looks indefensible. Curry pulls up from 30 feet, Reed lurks at the three-point line before sprinting into the paint. Thompson spaces the floor on the opposite wing, and Wiggins prowls the perimeter for secondary cuts. In transition, Reed's rare blend of speed and length allows him to catch lobs and finish with ease, an aspect of his game the Warriors desperately needed after last season's struggles against faster, smaller lineups. Reed's integration into Kerr's system has been seamless, thanks largely to his willingness to embrace a role that maximizes team success. Gone are the days when he demanded a biggest usage share. Now he's content spotting up in the corner or trailing shooters in pick-and-pop sets. His defensive versatility has surprised even the savviest analysts. Although he lacks Rudy Gobert's shot-changing instincts, his lateral quickness allows him to switch on to smaller forwards when needed, giving Draymond, and by extension, the entire defense, more flexibility. The result? A defensive rating that dropped from 114 last season to a league-best 104 through the first 20 games of the new campaign. Opposing offenses no longer feel comfortable attacking the paint, knowing Reed will contest every entry pass or challenge any rolling big off a screen. Let's talk numbers. Before Reed joined the fray, Golden State's offensive efficiency dipped to 112 points per 100 possessions. Good, but not great. In the 5 games leading up to Reed's debut, that figure slipped to 108, as teams schemed relentlessly against our soft interior. But since Reed's first game, the Warriors' offensive rating has soared to an eye-watering 122, tops in the league. Curry's three-point percentage has ticked up from 42% to 45%, in part because defenses can no longer leave Reed unattended in the corner. Thompson's catch-and-shoot efficiency sits at 47% from deep, and Wiggins thrives in secondary actions, posting career-high assist numbers as a secondary ball handler when defenses collapse on Steph and Reed. For context, last season, no team maintained an offensive rating above 120 for more than 3 games. Golden State has done it over an 8-game stretch since Reed's arrival. Yet, amid the carnival atmosphere, a sober truth emerges. Championship windows are fleeting. Curry turns 37 this season. Draymond will celebrate his 34th birthday in late spring. By 2027, Paul George or another nimble small forward might replace Thompson in the starting 5, and Reed's contract could loom over the roster. Would you rather have that $110 million locked into a stretch big when your core veterans retire? Or would you allocate those resources toward a balanced roster that can transition into a new era? It's a debate that will occupy front offices and fan forums alike for years to come. But for now, Warriors Nation, we revel in the moment. We've reclaimed the top spot in the standings, and every game feels like a preview of a potential final showdown. Reed's career bests, 22 points, 15 rebounds, 5 three-pointers made, have become routine milestones rather than occasional fireworks. Curry's 50-point explosion against Phoenix felt scriptable only in dreams, but unfolded as reality. And Draymond's quadruple-double in a nationally televised game cemented the narrative. The new Warriors are not just a team, they're a statement. In the end, this move, when viewed through the lens of franchise history, may prove to be the defining moment of the Stephen Curry era. Could Golden State capture their 5th title in 8 seasons? Will Reed's rise inspire a new wave of positionless basketball across the NBA? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: Dub Nation has never felt more electric. So, Warriors faithful, let me hear from you. Do you believe adding Nasser Reed cements Golden State as the greatest dynasty in NBA history? Or do you think this gamble risks everything Chris Paul and Andre Iguodala once built? Drop your thoughts and debates in the comments below, because this story is far from over and every opinion matters.